We've got some fresh new talent doing some things that I know you haven't heard before.
1, 2, 3, listen.
We want to inspire you,
to excite you.
I'm excited to see what we can do together, so let's smash it.
Welcome to Smartsheet Engage 2020. I'm Carlos Watson, the editor of Ozzy and the host of The Carlos Watson Show, and I'll be with you throughout the entire day. Now look, we all know that we're in the midst of a powerful and defining moment. Change is absolutely everywhere. Whether we talk about our friends and family, the grocery store, our politics, our schools, life as we knew it before COVID, not only is it changing, but it's probably changed in ways that we haven't even comprehended yet. And that's true of work as well. If any of us are going to succeed in these really unpredictable times, we know that what has to be true is not only do you have to be curious, you've got to have a hunger to explore the new and the next. That means people, that means ideas, that means places, that means things. Needless to say, that's why you're here at Smartsheet Engage. That not only do you want to explore and be inspired, you want to discover ways in which you won't only adapt, but you'll leverage some of this change that's happening in our world to transform before your very eyes. Hey, I'll be joining you again a little later in the program. We've got some really interesting and exciting things to share. But in the meantime, I'm pleased to introduce you to a man I've gotten to know a little bit over the last year or so, a man I call a friend, Smartsheet President and CEO, Mark Mader. Mark?
Thank you, Carlos. I appreciate you being with us. I also appreciate and welcome the over 50,000 of you who've registered for this, our 4th annual Engaged Global Customer Conference. Though the way we're gathering with you this year may be different, our goal remains the same: to connect in a way that challenges you, inspires you, to think about change, and as Carlos said so well, the opportunities that change presents. As we move through this session throughout the entire day, you'll hear examples of how Smartsheet enables people, teams, and organizations to do great work, their very best work, how we empower you to contribute and to drive value for your organization, and how Smartsheet is the leading platform for collaborative work management at scale. But what I'd like to offer right now, right up front, is my belief that Smartsheet is much more than a platform for work. Smartsheet is a platform for change. We exist to help you harness change, empowering you and your organization to be proactive versus reactive, a catalyst versus a casualty, at a time when the world is changing so rapidly around us. Smartsheet is about helping you lean in and empowering you with a sense of ownership in the work you do and in the change you seek. And because the variety of work that people do, the way in which they do it, and the organizations in which they exist are virtually limitless, Smartsheet is built to adapt to you versus you adapting your work style to us. Our platform's ability to flex to suit your unique needs, work styles, and opportunities may be our greatest strength. It's been a year like no other, from personal and economic disruptions to an overdue reckoning with issues of racial and social injustice. 2020 will long be remembered as a year of tumult, a year of challenge, yes, but as a result, a year rich with opportunity. On matters of diversity, equity, and inclusion, we are committed to walking the walk. To ensure we continue to create a work environment that encourages and supports all Smartsheet team members, we're expanding existing training opportunities, refining our hiring practices, and auditing our external relationships to ensure that we do business with suppliers who align with our beliefs. When it comes to the disruptions of 2020, it's fair to say that COVID has completely rewritten the definition and experience of work for many. In fact, I'd be willing to bet that for a significant percentage of you with us right now, you're managing your child's school day, caring for a parent, or handling one of many other things to which we've all become far too accustomed. We're facing a new reality, a reality that each of us must find a way to make the most of and to accept for the foreseeable future. COVID has been the ultimate accelerant of transformation, of the type of change I spoke to earlier. We are all participants in this massive shift toward a new way of working, but none of us really know if this new way is well-reasoned, improved, and carefully designed, or just something we're adjusting to as we go, working from home and hoping that what we're doing is making a difference. Regardless, we faithfully attend endless video meetings. We toggle between messaging apps and emails. We begin our days earlier, end them later, and are seeing the concept of a work-life balance become simply one long, blended work life. You know exactly what I mean. Yet while we've bought into this somewhat frantic adoption of technology in the hopes of working more efficiently and effectively in this new setting, no one is asking one fundamental question. Is this really the future of work we want? This time of extreme uncertainty and change presents a rare opportunity to rethink not just the tools we use, but fundamentally the way we approach work. We have a chance to start with a mostly clean slate, determining how best to drive innovation, enable competitive advantage, and to inspire our people and teams. With COVID forcing such change, why would we not use this as an opportunity to transform, to improve the way that work is done and change is accomplished? I'm not saying it'll be easy. It will require a shift in mindset and a firm belief that we can make the most of this moment. But I think you'd agree that the potential payoffs are enormous. So what's holding us back? What challenges do we need to overcome? The first thing I would point to is also perhaps the simplest, that people and organizations just don't know or recognize what's possible. They don't know there's a better way, a more dynamic way. Many businesses continue to labor under the belief that simply digitizing or using cloud-based versions of their traditional siloed productivity, workflow, and content apps will solve the problem. That is, at best, only a partial solution. The lack of integration across these apps means that critical information about the work being undertaken does not easily or quickly flow throughout the organization, inevitably resulting in missed opportunities and inefficiencies. This well-intended, but ultimately ineffective approach leaves us poorly prepared for the reality we face. For instance, in the rapid shift to remote work, we've largely digitized face-to-face conversations through web-based meeting services. More virtual conversations are happening, yes, but that's not what employees believe will maximize their productivity. There's a paradox here in terms of digitizing the old way versus finding a new way to work. According to a research report from 451 Research, a well-known industry analyst firm, employees report that their number one challenge is the absence of daily, in-person, face-to-face conversations. At the same time, over 3/4 of surveyed employees would prefer to doing fewer work calls and less email and messaging. While employees are perhaps having more conversations than ever, the ability to actually do and be accountable for work is being lost in the grand scheme of things. At Smartsheet, we believe that to effectively compete and to thrive, businesses must embrace the opportunity we have to work more dynamically, to simplify, streamline, and integrate how work is initiated, managed, and delivered by their people and by their teams. The future of work we seek is about creating impact from the edge of your organization by empowering individual users and teams to innovate for the company as part of a more effective, more innovative workforce. And when I say workforce, we don't just mean employees within our four walls. Today's workforces span a company's employee base, its partners, its supply chain, and its customers. A truly dynamic enterprise securely facilitates the collaborative work of both those inside and outside the organization. Achieving this means empowering people as change agents by enabling and integrating three key areas. First, the ability for them to act in the moment, not just collaborating and communicating with colleagues, vendors, and customers, but having that collaboration lead to action in real time. To create and shape flows that are right for the challenges to be addressed and the teams addressing them. And to impact the business by bringing more than a project to completion, but making the most of change, actually improving and innovating processes in a way that creates true long-term competitive advantage. Enabling these three powerful work elements to come together in a fully integrated way is what drives rapid adoption of our product and ultimately delivers value for our customers. It also clearly differentiates Smartsheet from more narrowly defined, task-oriented solutions. Don't worry, I know that's a lot to unpack, and we'll do just that as we move throughout today. You'll be hearing more about the Act Flow Impact concept and how it relates to some of the new product innovations we'll be sharing with you today. Suffice to say, succeeding in today's rapidly changing world and ensuring that your business is future-proof to face the inevitable changes and opportunities of tomorrow means enabling a more agile workforce, a more flexible work environment, and, ultimately, creating a more effective enterprise. For over 7 million users across tens of thousands of organizations, Smartsheet is the means by which they transform work into dynamic work, unifying collaboration, workflow, and content management into a platform that gives everyone the ability to continuously make an impact. Whether you're a Smartsheet veteran or new to the platform, I've got some good news for you. You are in the right place. Throughout the rest of this session and the entire day, we'll be sharing examples of the ways you can leverage Smartsheet to embrace change and transform it to your advantage. To tell you more about that, I'd like you to meet our Chief Product Officer, Gene Farrell. Gene?
Thanks, Mark. And thanks to all of you for joining us today. I am so excited to spend time with you to talk about how Smartsheet is powering the dynamic workforce and also share some of our latest product announcements. So just a few minutes ago, you heard from both Carlos and Mark talk about how challenging times are changing literally everything about our lives. That's why the transformation Mark talked about is so important. In the face of continuous change, organizations need to rethink how they work and how they're equipping their employees on the edge to not just survive, but thrive. This requires a dynamic solution, one that empowers your people, provides space for them to focus on their most important priorities, and continuously innovate to improve how they work and deliver results. Now, empowerment is the key. I submit to you that the only way for an organization to realize their full potential is to unleash the talents and ideas of their people, to solve their most pressing problems and capture their biggest opportunities. And the Smartsheet platform is a way to unlock that potential. Smartsheet is designed to empower all workers by bringing together the core elements of modern work: collaboration, workflow, and content, in a way that makes it easy for everyone, everywhere, to drive meaningful change in how they work. But don't just take my word for it. Let's hear from a customer.
What I do here at the Home Depot is run our project management office for building out an entirely new downstream network, so a direct-to-customer fulfillment. When we talk about what we're doing in supply chain at Home Depot, it's really making history. We've never done it before. No one else has done it before. There's no rule book. You've got your inventory side of supply chain. You've got your transportation and carrier development. You've got your vendor relations. Having a tool like Smartsheet, that one-stop shop and all visible for the work that you guys are all working on and trying to achieve the same goal. With a company as large as Home Depot, everything can kind of go off and work in some silos. And Smartsheet really allows for that all to be out in one place. Getting product to our customer when they want it, where they want it, and at the right price is really what Home Depot is setting out to do with this large-scale network that we're building out over the next few years. Smartsheet has allowed us to scale. This has helped us to all land and anchor ourselves into one tool.
There are so many ways to customize the tool and make it your own that if you don't utilize it, you're probably wasting more time than you should every day.
It's really cool to see how Home Depot is leveraging Smartsheet to empower their organization to innovate at the edge. They are literally transforming their business and inventing a completely new way to serve their customers. And Home Depot is just one of tens of thousands of companies that rely on Smartsheet to power their business. Now let's get a little deeper into how the Smartsheet platform empowers a dynamic workforce, starting with collaboration. Smartsheet enables frictionless collaboration within and across organizations. That is particularly important for customers who use Smartsheet to manage projects and programs. Modern or adaptive project management is one of our most common use cases. In the first place, many customers deploy Smartsheet to help their teams execute on important initiatives. And one of the most powerful ways to bring a team together and ensure everyone is on the same page is using dashboards. We launched dashboards a few years ago and have used your feedback to continuously improve the dashboard experience. Last year, we made it easier to edit and create dashboards and provided the ability to view dashboards as a current user. And guess what? Not only has your use of dashboards continued to grow, but that growth is actually accelerated. You've now created over 5.5 million dashboards, which is just amazing. But we're not even close to done. You continue to challenge us to simplify the dashboard experience, to make it more visually compelling, more modern, and more flexible. Well, we've heard you. And today we're excited to share a completely reimagined dashboard. We've revamped the dashboard design with a refreshed, modern look. Dashboard menus are now consistent with Sheets, using a familiar top toolbar for easier navigation and discoverability. We've expanded color options from just a few dozen to a full hex palette with over 16 million colors to make it easy to customize dashboards and align with your brand. And we've moved the widget editing screen to the right panel, making it even easier to create new dashboards and update existing ones. We are really excited about these new capabilities in dashboards, and they'll be available to all of you in January. Now, a close companion to dashboards is reports. Reports let you consolidate key information across many sheets into a single view. And something unique to Smartsheet reports is that they're bidirectional. So you can make an update to a report and it will automatically update the source sheet. Reports are a great way to see a roll-up of a project in flight, quickly see status, and understand where action is required. Now, you've challenged us to make reports easier to build and more powerful. So today, we're announcing some great new enhancements. First, we're releasing a new report builder that makes it even easier to adjust conditions with improved visibility of sheets, columns, and filter criteria. We're also adding more filter options, along with a drag-and-drop UI. Finally, we're introducing grouping and summary capabilities to allow you to consolidate data into groups and use functions like sum, min, max, and average to get totals without having to build a single formula. The new report builder, grouping and summary, will be available later this month. And for those of you that were engaged last year, you may remember a real-time enhancement request that I took from the audience for card view and reports. Well, I'm happy to report, pardon the pun, that we'll also be releasing card view and reports in January. Another important component of project management and keeping teams on track is understanding how the team is performing against their plan. This is something that many of you have been requesting, which is the ability to visualize a plan in a Gantt chart and then easily identify variances, also known as baselines. Well, I have some good news for you today. Your wait is almost over, as baselines will also be available in January. Baselines will offer a clearly defined, fixed reference point in time to measure and compare a project's progress to completion. Now Sheet admins can effectively map planned and actual date columns to each other, allowing them to immediately track any deviations in the project plan as it progresses. Another critical part of managing work is resource management. At Smartsheet, we know that the most valuable asset to any organization is their people. Companies rely on the talent of their people to deliver results. And for many organizations, resource management is not just a critical business function, but a competitive advantage. And it's become even more important in the current environment with their dramatic shift to a remote workforce. Based on strong interest from customers, last year we acquired 10,000 Feet, a leading resource management platform that provides real-time insights into what people are working on to help companies fully optimize their talent across teams and projects. GroupM, the world's leading media and investment company with over 36,000 employees, recently turned to 10,000 Feet to help improve visibility into their talent, quickly assemble diverse teams, and facilitate career mobility for their workers. Let's hear directly from GroupM about how they're leveraging Smartsheet and 10,000 Feet to transform how they manage their talent.
I started with Essence, which is a GroupM company. Google was our main client, and the mandate for me when I joined the company was to figure out how to scale and grow. The main goal that we had was to have visibility into our talent supply chain and to be able to make decisions quickly. We also wanted to be able to have our people's mobility desires and career aspirations become a reality.
It's played a huge role in opening up the time and space that's necessary for us to focus on curating teams that are diverse, motivated, engaged, figure out how their individual desires for the future of their career maps to business initiatives. It's all about the right people in the right place at the right time.
I think most systems that claim to be true resource management systems are really project management systems. And what I loved was it had all the project management bells and whistles, but it was truly a resourcing first system where you could get a high-level view and make good business decisions quickly.
It's not just 100 people in an office in Atlanta or in Berlin. It's now truly 30,000 people coming together to work on something.
Having the ability to collaborate and work together within a tool like Smartsheet allows us to be much more efficient in scoping and planning, and an ability to cut down on that speed to market to get that information back out to clients is really, I think, a competitive advantage.
I see our retention rate just like skyrocketing. People are going to want to stay here more.
Having a tool like 10,000 Feet and Smartsheet is ultimately a game changer to our people across the agency, which means it's a game changer to our clients as well.
What an awesome story and incredible vision at GroupM. Many thanks to the GroupM team for sharing their journey with us today. Now, last year at Engage, we previewed how we were planning to connect 10,000 Feet resourcing with project plans in Smartsheet. And today I'm happy to report we've delivered on that promise with the 10,000 Feet panel for Smartsheet. This panel is a portal into your resourcing plan and your team's availability. Directly from a project sheet, you can see who's been assigned to the project, request the types of people you need to complete each deliverable, and get a real-time preview of the impact of resourcing changes as you move through the project lifecycle. The 10,000 Feet panel for Smartsheet is available today, and we can't wait for you to start using the panel to get the full picture on your projects and your people. So serious enhancements to dashboards, reports, and 10,000 Feet, plus the addition of baselines. We think these changes will materially improve how teams collaborate to drive work forward with Smartsheet. And we hope you're inspired to leverage them to help your organization become more dynamic. But if this is not enough inspiration, here's Mark to share a truly inspiring story.
When we first learned about Pip Hare, we were so impressed with her story, her drive, and her that we reached out. We very quickly decided that her quest to compete in the Vendée Globe race was an endeavor Smartsheet wanted to be part of. Since we agreed to sponsor Pip, we've had the chance to get to know one another. She's also gotten to know our whole company, speaking at our recent all-hands meeting, where she made a huge impression on our team. So we asked her to join us at Engage. The word inspiration gets thrown around a lot these days, but Pip is the real deal. She's joining us from her boat somewhere off the coast in the UK. Hi, Pip. How are you?
Hi, Mark. I'm really good. Thank you for inviting me to join Engage.
Yeah. Hey, we saw a little bit about the Vendée Globe Challenge in the video, but tell us more about the race and why you chose to take on this challenge.
I have been obsessed with the Vendée Globe race since I read about it in my team, because I think quite simply it's one of the toughest sporting events that exists on the planet. It's 3 months of solid performance at every level. It's mental performance, it's physical performance, it's emotional resilience. And to sail single-handed non-stop around the globe was something I've always wanted to do. And I'm really, really happy to be making it happen this year.
And when we spoke a few weeks ago, you were showing me some things that you do on the boat to stay safe. And one of those really struck me. Let's take a look at that snippet and that conversation, and we'll talk more after that clip.
Yeah, so I wear a life jacket and I have a tether, and the tether is attaching me to the boat. And I use a short and a long tethering system, and most of the time I will choose to be on a short tether, because if you get washed by the waves on a short tether, well, if you're on a long tether, potentially you could still sort of end up outside the boat, attached to it, but outside it. There are some times when I just physically can't clip on because I have to move about the boat so quickly, it's not practical. But in my experience, the times really when you are at most risk are the times when you think you are most safe. So if I'm not clipped on and I'm doing a job, I'm very aware of that risk, and I mitigate through my actions. But the times when I'm really fastidious about clipping on are when, for example, I'm dozing in the cockpit. And you think, well, this is fine. It's a nice, safe, secure environment.
What struck me about that was the idea that it's when you feel the most safe, you feel the need to be the most careful.
Yeah, it's true. It's kind of, I guess one of the ways I explain it is that when you spend so much time on the boat and the environment is changing all the time, your definition of normal changes. And so the first time I get into a massive Southern Ocean storm, I will be scared and I will be super, super careful. But after I'm in my 5th one and I've been in there for a month, it feels normal. And that's really when I have to look after myself. It's complacency, I guess.
And in our business, Pip, redundancy is a very important feature. And I recall you telling me about some of the choices and trade-offs you've had to make between redundancy and inefficiency.
Only take the things that I need, not what I want. We're just thinking all the time about minimizing the weight and the volume of things that I can take. So before I go, we're going to really carefully go through the spares. And we do things like making sure that I only need 3 spanners for every bolt on the boat. So we make all the bolts either an 8, a 10, or a 13. And then all the tops of screw heads are posi drive. So I only need 1 screwdriver. And it's all that sort of attention to detail that helps me perform, keeps the weight down.
And while this is a solo race, you aren't completely alone out there. I know there's a team of people helping you, and I know they're using Smartsheet to do so. Your team has also developed a dashboard that we can follow your progress. We spoke to them about this, and here's what they told us.
There are 3 components of the dashboard which are internally facing, which are really about helping the team and helping Pip perform as best as possible. There is also another part of the dashboard which is externally facing, and actually what that does is really powerful as well. What Smartsheet have built for us is actually another sheet which is pulling on data around the boat whilst it's sailing, performance data around the boat, and also biometric data being pulled from Pip about how she is physically performing, and pulling all of that data from the boat into a sheet. And that is then driving a dashboard which we are going to share publicly and give people insight into this whole new layer of Pip's journey throughout the race.
We'll be sending a link of that dashboard out so all of you can follow along. Watch your inboxes. As we've been saying, it's really all about being proactive in creating change rather than waiting for change to happen to you. What was your light switch moment that made you decide to enter the world of solo racing in the first place?
I think it had been my dream since I was in my teens, but there was no traditional pathway to enter the sport. I couldn't find one. I kept watching and waiting for someone to show me the way, and it didn't happen. And actually quite late in my mid-30s, I suddenly realized that the power was inside me. I could actually make this happen. And if I didn't make it happen, then I only had myself to blame. And I guess I just kind of needed to give myself permission to have a go and also to make the mistake and not feel bad if it didn't work out.
The last time we talked, I introduced you to Kermit, the 16-foot skiff I'm having refurbished. You were very gracious, even though it's not quite the technological nautical marvel you'll be sailing on. But you talked about the idea of potential, seeing a boat and imagining where it might take you. Can you share some of what you told me with our audience?
Well, actually, Mark, that reminds me of something you said when we spoke about creating memories. So I wonder if I can turn the tables on you and ask to play a clip from that conversation.
Sure. Probably in the rest of my lifetime, Pip, I will probably have, and hopefully when you come over to visit, it'll be one of those times, I'll probably have 25 to 50 moments which are highly memorable.
Yeah.
And it's, not to sound too dramatic or, or too deep about it, but those are the things you remember.
Yeah.
So when you think about where you want to put your energies, if you value those things, then it becomes a very simple decision. And kind of like when we started Smartsheet, I can tell you the number of people who were critical of us starting and embarking on that journey. It was pretty similar to this, where a lot of the people were like, are you really going to renovate Kermit? What a waste of money. I'm supposed to be the one conducting the interview, Pip, but you're right. I'm sure you've had plenty of naysayers or people who've told you you can't or you shouldn't do something. How do you deal with that?
I think I've always dealt with that by just going and proving them wrong. It's very easy for somebody in the background to say that it can't be done because you don't look right, you're not the right gender, you're not the right age. But that's always made me fairly determined to prove to myself and to them that I can do it. And I believe really strongly in actions over words, and that's how I prove them wrong.
Well, one of the other comments you made that really struck me was when I asked you about what the boat represents for you. Let's look back at what you said, and then I'd love for you to elaborate on that a bit.
This is the vessel that is enabling me to be the person that I want to be, but it's also keeping me strong. It's allowing me to perform. It's my pod of safety, and it does have a personality. It does, yeah, sure, it's an inanimate object, but when there's only me, then there's only my emotions, and my emotions are naturally going to be reflected in everything that's around me. And so, yeah, I mean, I've had the boat for a year and a half, and I love it. I absolutely love it, but I know it. I know what it sounds like. I know when that sound is bad. I know when something is wrong. I can feel if something is not right. So you do kind of become one.
Well, yeah, I mean, it means all of that. And sitting in the boat now, talking to you now is really special because I can, share some of it. But I guess the main thing for me is the boat is the platform for me to be the person that I want to be. It allows me to perform in a way that I don't get to anywhere else. There are no excuses, but also I stretch myself further. So it enables me to be the best version of me.
Mm-hmm. Well, Pip, the Vendée Globe begins just a little bit over a month from now, I think November 8th. What are you doing between now and then to make those final preparations to get everything just dialed in?
So I've got 2 weeks left of training, which is why I'm out on the water now, because we're trying to make the most of every sailing second that we can. Next week, I'm going out for what we're calling the dress rehearsal. So I'm testing all my systems and my backup systems. Then there's all of the packing, the checklists, all of that sort of thing. Our Smartsheet is coming in really handy for that level of planning. And then a couple of weeks before the race, everything just calms down a bit. I take some time to look at the course, to look at the weather, to prepare myself, and then off we go.
Yeah. Well, best of luck. It's been so great talking with you and having you part of the Smartsheet family. And I want to close with one more clip from our most recent conversation, because I think it perfectly captures why we wanted to partner with you.
I think that's why one of the main reasons I love solo sailing is because I own my success and my failure equally. I have to take responsibility for every action. And I like that. I like the fact that there's nowhere to hide, but I also like the fact that you make a mistake, you level up, and then you find a way around it because you have to. It's a good way to be.
So I think that pretty much says it all. Pip, thanks for joining us and for inspiring us. We're going to be watching you and cheering you on.
And thank you. Bye, everyone.
Each time I speak with Pip, I hear so much passion and purpose. And I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say that it's people like Pip, the can-doers of the world, for whom we build our product. People who want to break down barriers, to leverage change rather than be inhibited by it, to make a difference in this world, a difference for themselves, for their teams, and for their organizations. Enabling a dynamic workforce and, in turn, empowering entire organizations to become more flexible and effective goes far beyond simply helping individuals manage tasks. Leaders know instinctively that if they can get even 10% more of their workforce off the sidelines and more actively engaged in their work, the business will reap tremendous benefits. Smartsheet has always been and will remain a platform built primarily to empower business users, the citizens of the dynamic workforce. Citizens, not to be confused with the more technically oriented citizen developers, are the users who need to accomplish a business objective but lack the technical skills to customize other software. What they desire is a no-code platform, very different than a low-code platform, that they can shape to suit their needs. Let me quickly add that we will not focus exclusively on the citizen audience to the exclusion of others. We want citizen developers and IT teams to participate with us and leverage Smartsheet for their own use, but our primary goal is to never leave the citizen behind. Why? Because the citizen group has been underserved by software companies that constantly overestimate the amount of complexity or change business users are capable of taking on to achieve an outcome. Though Smartsheet is designed to be easy to get started with, there are instances, oftentimes at a departmental level, when offering a more robust end-to-end solution can unlock even more value. I'm a strong believer that there's simply no compression algorithm for experience. We've learned, over nearly 15 years of operation, how to help you build solutions using templates, accelerators, integrations, and connectors that deliver value for many different teams across an organization. Be they in IT and ops, human resources, or project management, the range of solutions that Smartsheet can enable deliver faster time to value and accelerate meaningful innovation. For example, Smartsheet is building and delivering a set of elite experiences for marketing teams. By offering an expanding range of marketing-specific capabilities and solutions, we enable organizations to build their brands, manage their operations, and connect with their customers in more effective, more personal ways. To share more about some of the opportunities available to marketers, here is Smartsheet CMO, Anna Griffin.
Thanks, Mark. $500 billion. That's the amount of spend on marketing worldwide every year. Now imagine that for a minute. Every ad, every search, every billboard, social post, podcast, and PR stunts deployed in an effort to capture our attention, drive our interest, and generate loyalty. It adds up to $500 billion. There's a great deal of power in that amount and an equal amount of responsibility. How do we invest the money? Is the money well spent? Are the right tactics being leveraged, the right assets? And are the right audiences being reached at the right time with the right message in the right way? All of these questions and variables times $500 billion. It's redefining the role of marketing organizations. Think about it. For some time, that primary role of marketing, or the marketer, had been content creation and promotion, but not at the scale and complexity we see today. Previously, content took a form of clever ad campaigns and was distributed with a big media buy. It was specialized work, carefully curated by a few and pushed to mass audience of willing viewers. There was not a lot of measurement or understanding of its efficacy. In fact, it's the genius of the old adage that half of the money spent on advertising is wasted. The trouble is, we just didn't know which half. Digitization changed all of that. Content became king and it became code. It became measurable. The web and search created more opportunities for targeted messages in more places. Apps and subscription service made traditional media less effective, and the iPhone and social networks created a new behavior in all of us. We all became content creators. When it comes to the enterprise, it has become the job of everyone across all corners of the business to become content creators, and we're spending real money to do so. Sales is running social campaigns, product marketing is blogging and podcasting, R&D is teasing new product experiences in-app, and on and on and on. All of this drives to one clear conclusion. The marketing function is evolving from sole creator of content to editor-in-chief. I actually just had this conversation with my friend Edward, editor-in-chief of Time. He made the point that our roles have become actually quite similar. The primary role of both of our jobs is not only to ensure good content from all of our organization's creators, but also to ensure that it's being effectively and efficiently produced across hundreds of different writers, covering different topics across hundreds of work streams, and that it can be ready for distribution across a multitude of different platforms, apps, web, television, streaming video, print, mobile. And all of that effort must be relevant to the subscriber or customer opting into our content because it resonates. Now that's a tall order. And the answer for today's marketers looking to deliver that type of value is act, flow, impact. Now I know Mark introduced this approach at a higher level earlier, but I wanted to bring this to life through the lens of a marketer dealing with the challenges I just laid out. Let's start with act. Marketers need to know who is making the content to identify opportunities that best complement the expertise of different content creators and to collaborate with them to hone the message or experience. Marketers need to assign and orchestrate the team, ensuring that they're in the driver's seat, not just aware what's happening, but actively participating. And from act comes flow, the workflows that enable more efficient processes as the content is created. Of course, in order to truly drive efficiency across a multitude of efforts and throughout the enterprise, you can't work within fixed, prescribed systems. The flow needs to be modified and shaped as the work evolves. That level of flexibility not only ensures the work gets done, but that the process can constantly evolve and improve. Finally, impact. The where and the when. Where will the content live? How will it be accessed? How will it be tagged for insights, distribution, and sharing? How will it ensure compliance, be measured, optimized, and quickly retired if needed? These are the issues marketers must address and solve for if they want to succeed in this new content-driven world, not separately or in linear fashions, but interconnected and with the agility to constantly adapt and evolve. That is what the Smartsheet platform for dynamic work enables, built for marketers who are in fact editors-in-chief. I'm excited to hand it back to Gene to show you how we're continuing to innovate and make this real. Gene?
Thanks, Anna. Marketing leaders consistently tell us they're tired of having to use a bunch of disjointed tools like email, chat, spreadsheets, and file sharing to manage their workflows and content. They want solutions that enable their teams to be more effective and more dynamic, including end-to-end workflows for content development, campaign management, events, and digital content. They also want analytics and insights to understand the effectiveness of their processes and the content they're creating. And it makes sense, right? For designers and marketers, content is a core part of almost everything they do. In fact, it was these customer needs that led us to invest in developing more powerful, elite experiences for them in Smartsheet. We launched our first version of content collaboration last year at Engage. This new proofing capability enabled teams to easily upload content, request feedback from stakeholders, control versions, and get approvals in a simple, streamlined process. Since then, customers have created over 140,000 proofs in Smartsheet. We also recognize that the tool of choice for designers and creative development is the Adobe Creative Cloud. So it makes it easier for creatives to engage in workflows being managed in Smartsheet. We built an integration to allow them to route content for review and approvals directly from Adobe. But we're just getting started. We know that customers have many workflows that involve content, some of which extend beyond creative development and marketing, including procurement, legal, and business ops. To support this diverse set of customer needs, we must offer a broader set of capabilities, including support for more content types and more robust proofing capabilities. So I'm happy to share the next wave of proofing enhancements, starting with support for over 50 new document types that we'll be releasing between now and January. We're starting with support for Microsoft Office files, which is available today. Now you can upload, review, comment, and approve Word, PowerPoint, and Excel files right from Smartsheet proofing. We've also added support for advanced annotations, so now in addition to pins, you can use boxes and arrows to provide more targeted feedback. And best of all, we've added proofing for videos with frame-level timestamp capability. So now you'll also be able to proof video content and provide granular feedback. When you combine these new proofing capabilities with the Adobe integration, you've got a pretty amazing feature set for content in Smartsheet. But how do we take it to the next level and make it really world-class? Customers have told us they need a better way to organize, discover, distribute, and measure the content they generate. Many are using legacy on-prem solutions or simple online file sync and share services that just aren't designed to support the full digital asset management lifecycle, from creation to collaboration to distribution. As we looked at different ways to solve this, we determined that the only way to truly provide an end-to-end solution for customers was for us to add digital asset management capabilities to the Smartsheet platform. This ultimately led to our recent acquisition of Brandfolder, the #1 rated digital asset management platform by G2 Crowd. Brandfolder provides an intuitive platform to easily store, share, and track all forms of digital content. It uses AI to automatically tag and organize content in a way that makes it easy to find. It shares insights into your content and how it's performing. And it even provides recommendations on how to improve it. It's really slick. And I'm excited to announce that starting today, we've integrated Smartsheet with Brandfolder to help you and your team streamline the content production process from assignment through final delivery. This initial integration will keep attachments and proofs synced with Brandfolder assets. So when a proof is completed, the approval file will automatically be copied to the right place in Brandfolder, along with the Smartsheet metadata. This gives users the ability to easily categorize, search for, and distribute assets. But we don't want to just talk about it. Let's show you.
Brandfolder gives companies the ability to do more and get more out of their brand's content. To demonstrate, let's take a look at a visual asset created in Adobe. Once finished, the asset can be published right from Adobe to Brandfolder, thanks to our integration with Adobe Creative Cloud. Brand Intelligence, Brandfolder's proprietary AI, then goes to work auto-tagging the asset, extracting text, detecting subjects, even tagging brand-specific information like individual product models and SKUs, making it easy to search and find the content you need. A marketer can then add that asset to any desired collections and portals, giving access and permissions to stakeholders like retailers or media agencies, all without ever uploading, downloading, or duplicating the asset. One single source of truth. Stakeholders can then see the exact asset they need, download that asset in their desired size and format, or use templates to adjust specifics within the asset to fit their needs, all while maintaining brand consistency. And the best part, there's no training required on Brandfolder's intuitive interface. With Brandfolder's analytics platform, marketers can track exactly how their content is performing and who's engaging with that content, and then use that information to inform the next round of creativity. By joining with Smartsheet, we're now merging the best collaborative work management platform with the best digital asset management platform to uniquely offer our customers the best of both worlds. Stay tuned, this is just the beginning.
And this initial integration is just the first of many, so stay tuned for deeper integrations between Brandfolder and Smartsheet. When you look at the power of combining Smartsheet's collaboration, content proofing, and workflow capabilities with Adobe Creative Cloud and Brandfolder's leading digital asset management platform, no one comes close to matching this level of capability and empowering marketers and designers to manage their work end to end. Now, let's hand it back to Mark to share how some of the largest companies in the world are using Smartsheet at enterprise scale. Mark?
Smartsheet empowers work at scale for tens of thousands of customers and millions of users around the world. We understand the needs of today's enterprise organizations and recognize that the complexity and scale does not grow geometrically, it grows exponentially. That's why we're trusted by 75% of the Fortune 500 and 90% of the Fortune 100. Companies like Cisco, Syngenta, and McGraw-Hill rely on Smartsheet to be a platform that the business can easily deploy and that IT can easily and securely implement and manage as a centralized resource. It's also why we're trusted by customers as demanding as the US federal government. I'm pleased to announce that Smartsheet is the first and only collaborative work platform to have passed a series of stringent security tests and been awarded provisional authorization for what's known as Department of Defense Impact Level 4. That is a great step towards making Smartsheet the most trusted platform for helping government agencies carry out their mission to serve the American public. When COVID-19 struck and time was of the essence, Roche, a global Fortune 200 pharmaceutical company, turned to Smartsheet to help them address an opportunity that defines enterprise scale and accountability.
Screenings now expanding to 5 U.S. airports, including
now to growing
Chicago
concerns
and
about the
Atlanta.
deadly coronavirus officially hitting the U.S. Here's what we don't know.
As Roche was developing first its diagnostic test and then its antibody test, something that we realized very early on and very quickly was that supply was going to be limited, but demand was going to be incredibly high.
The USNS Comfort gets ready to head to New York City.
Given that situation and the scarcity of this resource, we are going to have to manage information across a distributed supply chain of labs and hospitals so that we could optimize the placement of this scarce supply to where the greatest human need existed.
Bridge did become a key part of our solution and how we messaged to customers. Later on, it was actually how we started moving data around. So we had automated tasks that would move data between reports. So Bridge brought a lot of power.
Within 72 hours, we had our first reporting day from all of the Roche Alliance customers, and we were able to deliver analytics, reporting, and statistics to 4 different government agencies.
The moment the truck with all the tests on it pulled away, and then actually seeing that first shipment go out, that labs are going to be able to really say for sure if someone has COVID or not and start to respond. That was, one of the most incredible moments of my career, but also just in my life.
I think it was the 4th day, and my wife was watching CNN. I heard Dr. Birx from the White House Coronavirus Task Force announcing the test results for New York, New Jersey area. I stopped and I went, oh, that's our data.
We kind of feel we were trailblazers, to be honest, and Smartsheet was an engine that was driving that and that coordination and collaboration to really help set a standard of what should be expected.
Roche understands the multiplier effect that can be created when the individuals and teams closest to the work are empowered with the information and processes they need to act. Empowering high-value workflows yields the greatest results when the apps and people at the edge are able to access and share data with apps that sit in the IT-managed core of the enterprise. Transformation and budget has traditionally been focused on the core, but that's expanding. Enlightened organizations now understand that solving for both halves of this formula, the edge and the core, is the best way to ensure their success today and to prepare themselves for the opportunities of tomorrow. As our customers grow and scale, a new Smartsheet product offering, Bridge, will grow with them and enhance the efficiency and connectivity within their software stack. As a complement to our existing connectors, which enable an automatic set-it-and-forget-it sync of data between Smartsheet and applications like Salesforce, Jira, and ServiceNow, Bridge enables you to apply business logic to data flow, enabling more sophisticated, more valuable workflows. If you've ever wanted to eliminate repetitive and manual processes or workflow in your business, then you'll understand the potential value of Bridge. But a capability that powerful is not simply plug and play. At last year's Engage, you challenged us to provide you with deeper, richer functionality. And with Bridge, we've responded. Now it's up to you to understand the potential of Bridge to empower your highest value workflows and to shape it to your needs. You will hear more about Bridge from Gene a little bit later. Now, I don't want to steal too much of Gene's thunder, but I am really excited about something else he's going to share with you a little later in the program. WorkApps is a new platform innovation that delivers on our commitment to empowering citizens at the edge of the enterprise that I spoke of earlier. It represents a no-code, and I mean zero-code way for non-developer business users to bring sheets, forms, reports, dashboards, even external sites together into an easy-to-navigate application. For the 90% of the world that does not code, I believe WorkApps will be a game changer. Again, Gene will share more on WorkApps later, but now he's going to share how Smartsheet is helping customers accelerate their business and drive better outcomes by enabling increasingly dynamic workflows. Gene?
Thanks, Mark. At Smartsheet, we want to empower all of you to automate actions, accelerate the work of your teams, and do this with an enterprise-grade platform. And when customers take full advantage of this, the impact can be massive. I love sharing an example from Starbucks that really highlights the potential of automated workflows. Kelly Drake, a senior project manager, was tasked with installing COVID-19 safety equipment in over 17,000 stores earlier this year. Doing this with Smartsheet automated workflows saved Starbucks millions of dollars, provided real-time details to field leadership, shortened the project completion timeline by half, and freed up team members to focus on additional project work. All of this without having to burden IT. It's amazing to see how our platform has the potential to empower all knowledge workers to transform how they work, and Kelly is a great example of this. Before I talk about some new capabilities in this area, I want to share another example of transformation from Dell Boomi. They've completely changed the way they work with Smartsheet.
I'm Chris Port. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Boomi and a huge Smartsheet user. Like every hyper-growth company that's growing 30, 40, 50, 100% year over year every quarter, and trying to scale the company, we had an inordinate number of projects going at any given time. And like a lot of companies, we captured those in legacy tool sets.
I started in 2015 when there was 130 people. Now we're over 1,200 employees. I remember our first QBR week, and it was, two people sitting across the table with a whiteboard.
Smartsheet has been a facilitator to really allow people to innovate, to continue to be entrepreneurs within Boomi, to really go drive very unique solutions to really enable that innovation and entrepreneurship.
Smartsheet has completely changed the way I do my job. I'm a lot more efficient. I can get a lot more stuff done. And as things change, it allows me to be really flexible and to adapt really quickly to the changes that are happening.
When I started using it and people saw how other projects were being managed and how efficient my team was being, other parts of the organization wanted to get on it too. And it was so easy to adopt, it's easy to implement, and there's almost such a low barrier to using Smartsheet that it's like, why wouldn't you want to reimagine the way you work?
We've absolutely seen productivity improvement of 70%, in aspects of our support organization. We've been able to drive 50% efficiency gains just simply through transparency and visibility.
It's changed our culture. It's changed the way we're transparent with some of our initiatives. It's changed the way that we're measuring our impact.
It will completely change how you think about project management and how you think about driving initiatives across your company.
You're going to be able to drive so much more organizational effectiveness if you're able to change the way you work. And this is a phenomenal platform to change the way you work.
Wow, special thanks to the Dell Boomi team for sharing that truly inspiring story. Speaking of transformation, Smartsheet users trigger over 4 million automated workflows every month. And that number is actually growing 20% month over month. And we love seeing that increase because every time it goes up, we know Smartsheet users are leveraging automations to improve efficiency, save time, and transform how they work. And that's why we continue to enhance automations and give users more ways to automate their work. Last year, we launched multi-step automated workflows, new time-based and recurring triggers, and move and copy row actions. And today, I'm excited to announce some great enhancements for 2020. First is the ability to automatically date stamp approvals, status updates, and other key milestones to measure and compare team performance. We're also adding a new feature to automatically assign work items to team members, eliminating delays due to process handoffs. And because different scenarios and stakeholders require tailoring how they communicate, we've introduced simple, link-free notifications, allowing you to send just the right amount of information for updates and reminders to your team, customers, vendors, and other key stakeholders. Now, a lot of you use Smartsheets for performing critical business processes, and many of those processes leverage formulas. Smartsheet currently provides cell-level formulas which offer great flexibility, but they also can be inadvertently changed on large projects with multiple collaborators. To make it easier to apply a formula to an entire column and maintain consistency, I'm excited to announce the release of column formulas. With column formulas, you enter a formula one time, convert it to a column-level formula, and it will apply that formula to every cell in the column, regardless of where or how new rows get added. Column formulas can only be edited by licensed sheet owners and admins, and they're going to save you a ton of time and give you confidence in the accuracy of your data. They're available today, and Smartsheet is the only platform that provides customers the flexibility to apply formulas at both the cell and column level. Many of our customers use Smartsheet to gather and process data as part of a workflow that ultimately generates a document, including things like quotes, SOWs, invoices, job offers, or lease agreements. And most of the time, they use a PDF document template to generate those documents. If you or your team is responsible for putting together documents, you know it can be a challenge to do this accurately at scale. Wouldn't it be great to be able to automate this process? Well, we had the exact same thought, and now you can with the launch today of Smartsheet Document Builder. The Smartsheet Document Builder makes it easy to quickly create custom PDF documents from a template using sheet data. Simply map the fields in your sheet to a PDF template of your choice, and then use the mapping to generate custom versions on the fly for one or more rows. Completed documents can be downloaded or attached to the appropriate rows in Smartsheet to keep everything organized. I believe this will be super valuable to customers because in the private beta for Document Builder, we had customers generating tens of thousands of documents before it was even ready to launch. We've heard from a lot of customers about the need to automate business processes across platforms. Whether it's being able to pull a record from SAP and feed it into a Smartsheet workflow, or creating a ticket in ServiceNow when a new row is added in Smartsheet. We believe we're part of a broader ecosystem of tools to configure work, and that's why we continue to put a lot of focus on integrating Smartsheet with the rest of your software stack. There are a lot of workflow tools designed to help automate process across platforms, but most of those tools are either require deep technical skills or they're just not powerful enough to automate the entire process. And that's exactly why we built Bridge. As Mark mentioned earlier, Bridge is our automation engine that does not require code to enable workflow orchestration between platforms. We designed Bridge to be powerful enough to automate complex business processes, but accessible enough to be used by IT and business users. As one of our more advanced services, Bridge allows you to build multi-step business process to trigger actions and share data across platforms. Using Bridge, you can completely change the way your team works. To show you more on how to use Bridge, let's shoot over to Scotland and join Ingrid Nylander, Senior Product Manager for Bridge. Ingrid?
Well, thank you, Jean, and hi, everyone. My name is Ingrid Nylander. I'm a Senior Product Manager here at Smartsheet, and I'm very excited to show you what Bridge by Smartsheet is all about. So I'm going to be doing that by telling you about Brooklyn. She's a project manager at a retail company, and she's been using Smartsheet there for a few years now. It's primarily to help manage various store openings. The company she works for is quite large, and they track many store openings at once. So Brooklyn and her team end up spending a lot of their time tracking all of the inventory that's getting sent to their stores in preparation for the openings. So things like displays, hooks, branding for the various products are coming in from all over the world. Now, before, Brooklyn would start her morning by looking up the shipping status of every single item getting shipped to the stores and then update her sheet with that information. But at Engage in 2019, she'd also sat in on a session about Bridge, and she learned about the possibility of really ending the era of manual and repetitive work. So she knew there had to be a more efficient way to get these statuses across. And she decided to reach out to the Smartsheet team to help figure that out. Bridge is a no-code cross-platform process automation engine. It can connect to CRMs, to ERPs, to chat systems, and much more. But most importantly for Brooklyn is that it connects to her company's preferred commercial carrier. So in her sheet, she tracks all of the inventory getting shipped to the location of new stores being opened. And in Bridge, she uses the drag and drop interface to build workflows and to connect data and platforms the way she wants to connect them. Once every hour, a Bridge workflow runs to update the sheet with the status of any item with a shipping ID that hasn't already been delivered. And now, with Bridge automating all of this shipping information, Brooklyn not only gets her mornings back, but she and her team are able to spend their time on more complex work. Now, this is, of course, just one example of how you can enhance your Smartsheet solution, but the great thing about Bridge is that you can extend it to the platforms that are part of your process. You can connect to anything with an open API, and then use the Bridge interface to really interact with that API without needing to know how to code. So if that sounds interesting, you want to learn more, come along to track 3. We'll be diving deeper into Bridge and what it can do for you. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of Engage.
Thanks, Ingrid. It's been fun to see how customers are already using Bridge to orchestrate workflows across systems to achieve outcomes that were previously unattainable. We quietly introduced Bridge in July, and today we're excited to make Bridge generally available to all Smartsheet customers. Anyone interested in learning more about Bridge should reach out to their Smartsheet sales rep. So we talked a lot about collaboration, content, and workflows, and how Smartsheet is innovating in each of these areas to bring them together to enable dynamic work. But none of that matters if the platform you're deploying is not enterprise grade. And Smartsheet is investing heavily to make sure our platform delivers the scale, performance, security, availability, and manageability that enterprise organizations need. In the last few months, we've delivered a 4x increase in sheet capacity, a 5x improvement in sheet load times, and a 60% improvement in formula calculation times. But when it comes to performance at scale, we are never done. because every time we reach a new level, it unlocks you, our customers, to do even more with Smartsheet. So you will continue to see us invest here. Along with performance, one of the most important components of an enterprise-grade platform is security. Smartsheet was built from the ground up with strict security requirements and protocols to secure your data, give you control of user access, and provide you with methods to safely share information inside and outside of your organization. Our enterprise-grade multi-level security includes around-the-clock monitoring, physical security, data encryption, and user authentication. Certifications include ISO, SOC, PCI, DSS, FedRAMP, HIPAA, and ITAR, just to name a few. We also provide enterprise-grade administration and user management, including things like permissions, visibility into activity, chargeback reports, provisioning, and event reporting that enables wiring into data loss prevention, CASB, and other systems enterprises rely on to maintain security and compliance. In May, we launched Smartsheet Admin Center to get IT a simple, centralized way to manage their Smartsheet account. It provides a snapshot of your account and an easy way to manage users, groups, authentication, and security, just to name a few. This summer, we added several new capabilities to make it easier to add and make bulk updates to users. And today, I'm excited to share some new enhancements coming early next year. We'll start by expanding Admin Center to also let you see and manage first-party apps like Dynamic View and Data Uploader. Admins will soon be able to control user roles for an app at either the user or org level, but that's not all. We're also expanding our governance capabilities with policy templates to make it really easy for administrators to set and enforce policy restrictions. The first is a data retention policy, which will help automatically flag and delete aging and unused documents. The second is a data sharing and export policy for controlling what internal and external users can do in terms of things like publish, export, or share externally. We've also heard from several enterprise customers that they want cool stuff like single sign-on, directory integration, and other governance features, but still want the flexibility to manage licenses in each department. So we've introduced an enterprise plan manager that allows IT to set up those things centrally, but doesn't require consolidation of all the plans into a single one. We've talked a lot today about empowering users at the edge, and we know you're all working hard to build the tools that power dynamic work in your teams and organizations. Things like forms to collect information, automated workflows to collect data across platforms, and dashboards and reports to share data and insights. And you're working with a lot of different stakeholders, inside and outside of your organization, who need to engage in different ways. Maybe it's collecting project updates from your team, collaborating with a vendor, or sharing program status with executives. The key is engagement. No business process, no matter how well designed, will be successful without active engagement from everyone involved. And even with all the tools at your disposal, getting stakeholders to engage can still be challenging. And this is exactly why we're building a new platform called WorkApps that Mark mentioned earlier. WorkApps is a no-code platform for building intuitive web and mobile apps to streamline your business and simplify collaboration. With WorkApps, you can build easy-to-navigate apps in a few minutes using sheets, forms, reports, dashboards, and even external content like Tableau dashboards or Google Docs, all without writing a single line of code. WorkApps supports the concept of roles with a tailored view of the app to make it easy to give everyone the information they need. And best of all, you just assign a role and give access to the app. There's no need to provide access to the underlying sheets or reports that make up the app. To show you just how easy it is to build an app using WorkApps, I'm going to hand it over to Rekha Raghu, Director of Product for WorkApps. Rekha?
Thanks, Gene. Hi, everyone. I'm super excited to show you WorkApps today. To begin, I'm going to tell you about Tamika, who runs a professional services department at a marketing firm. Tamika's team provides services to several departments at her company. They deal with everything from arranging ad shoots to managing creative content. Tamika loves using Smartsheet to manage this process, but she really wishes that she could put everything in one place and give people access to only the stuff they need. That's where WorkApps comes in. With WorkApps, Tamika was able to quickly build an app using the Smartsheet solution she uses today. Let's take a look at her app. Tamika's customers see an informational dashboard, a form to submit new requests, and a report where they can view the status of their requests. She also added her training presentation to this app so that everything her customers need is now in one place. Even better, Tamika's team can do their work in the same app, but they see a different app experience. What Tamika really loves about WorkApps is that she doesn't have to give access to the underlying Smartsheet assets to anyone. She just adds them as users of the app. This way, Tamika can protect the solutions she has built by not allowing anyone to make structural changes or getting access to information they shouldn't see. So you may be asking yourself, this looks great, but it can't be that easy to build, can it? Actually, it is. With WorkApps Builder, you can create an app by starting with existing Smartsheet assets or from an app templates in a few easy steps. The first thing to do is add pages to the app. You can add things like sheets, reports, dashboard, forms, or even external content like a BI report, a video, or any document type. Next, let's add roles so that we can provide a customized experience for each group of end users. For example, in Tamika's app, she had multiple roles, one for her team, another for her stakeholders. That's what's great about WorkApps. You can control what people see to keep them focused. Once you've created a role, simply add users or groups to give them access. You can also customize the app branding like logos and colors, making it look and feel like an app built for your company by you. Finally, I'm ready to publish the app to make it live for my end users. You can access any app that you've built or apps that have been shared to you in the WorkApps gallery. And every app you've built is automatically optimized for mobile. Open the Smartsheet mobile app and all your WorkApps are there for you. To learn more about how WorkApps can help streamline your business, look for my session in track 3. Thank you. And with that, I would like to send it back to Gene.
Thanks, Rekha. WorkApps is a new premium offering for enterprise and premier customers that will officially launch in January. But you don't have to wait to experience the power of WorkApps. Today, we're launching a preview of WorkApps for all business, enterprise, and premier customers. Visit smartsheet.com/WorkApps to learn more and sign up for the preview. Now, before I finish, I want to share one more thing, something I think all of you are going to be really excited to see. We've been hard at work designing a brand new look and feel for Smartsheet. And I'd like to give you a glimmer of how the Smartsheet experience will transform over the next 6 months. I think you're going to love the new look and power we are building into Smartsheet. And I can't wait to see how you're going to take this to the next level. Now I'm going to hand it over to Anna to tell you more about the resources we're providing to help you do just that.
The greatest danger in times of turbulence is not the turbulence itself, but to act with yesterday's logic. The renowned management consultant Peter Drucker was making the point that in times of massive change, those who seek out new and innovative ways of thinking and act on them will be those who thrive. I never could have dreamt what 2020 had in store for all of us, that it would challenge us so greatly, that it could frighten us, upset us, even divide us. But we stayed together, supported each other, grew together, and even found some laughter along the way. I mean, come on, we've been doing video calls from the front porch in the backyard, sometimes even hiding in the bathtub to get that moment of silence from the kids for the important call. Together, we've been letting the dog in and out of what seems like 100 freaking times a day, all while perfecting our stay-at-home wardrobes of choice. Mine, the silk blouse, paired with my joggers and running shoes. Truth is, we're now seeing each other in a whole new light. The early morning light, the late night, midnight oil light, and in some cases, no light at all. We've changed teams, shapes, sizes, remits, locations. We've said goodbye to colleagues, and we've onboarded new members of the team who we've never met face-to-face or stepped in our offices and experienced our cultures. We fought for our jobs while some of us were even fighting for our lives. We've adapted to a world we never even imagined, let alone lived through. And yet, here we are today, in droves, 50,000 strong here at Engage, and more than 7 million strong around the world, all wanting more, wanting to embrace change. I know you guys. I met 4,000 of you last year at Engage, and I've met more than 40,000 of you this year in our community. You're here today for one reason, to be a catalyst of change, not a casualty. No, because you are the can-doers, the ones who always find a way. You have audacity, creativity, and the relentless dedication necessary to make real change happen. You were born for times like these, and we're going to make sure you're ready. First, new virtual user groups, because you like to share. Of course you do, because when you achieve things, you want to teach and show others. We're now making this easier for you than ever. Our user groups have gone virtual, expanding to nearly 100 this year. No longer confined to the limits of physical spaces, we've been able to reach larger audiences where the excitement from each other's success is compounding at each group. We're able to offer themed topics from many industries and geographies that we believe help you most as we adapt to remote work. We've been doing deep dives like automated workflows and dashboarding. And we can't thank you enough for all of you who've raised your hand saying, I've had so much success with Smartsheet, it's the least I can do to share with others in times like these. Our fall lineup is here, where you can find out how to join or even lead one of our virtual user groups. And for 24/7 sharing, we've relaunched our community platform and have grown to over 42,000 strong. We've added specialized groups aimed at connecting you with other community members interested in sharing those best practices across different roles and verticals. You can come to the community and collaborate with, say, now marketers or IT professionals, or connect with those in the same field like healthcare, higher ed, government, construction, so many more. We're hosting live monthly webinars where you can hear from other can-doers like yourselves as well, and now engage more deeply. We'll even be hosting Pip Hare and Carlos Watson and many more in the months ahead. And for those out there who relish a little competition, and I know you do, you can now earn points and badges for participating across a number of different community programs, like being a mobilizer or joining our early adopters program, moderating groups within the community, and more. And you'll have a chance to be featured in next year's Engage as one of our overachievers, a program you're going to be hearing a little more about later in the day. Our new and improved Help and Learning Center is now a free self-service resource for all users to come and learn how to best use Smartsheet. The Learning Center features curated learning tracks, including tutorial videos, help articles, templates, and webinars on your favorite topics like the core app, system administrators, integrations and add-ons, control center, accelerators, best practices, and more. And to help with today's new pressing realities, we've launched the Remote Work Hub. You're gonna love this. It helps you with resources on how to lead remote teams, templates to get organized for phased return to work planning, and IT ops for remote workforces, and enables you to do employee pulse check-ins. As we all know, COVID has changed the paradigm for students at all levels of our education system, including higher ed. Students need a way to manage their virtual coursework. They need to interact efficiently with instructors and collaborate with other students on team-based projects. Smartsheet is that solution, and I'm stoked to announce that today we're introducing a program that encourages students at U.S. colleges, universities, and technical schools to request free Smartsheet licenses. We know that embracing and harnessing change isn't reserved just for business. And with this offer, we hope to ignite the passion of a whole new generation of dynamic can-doers. And lastly, speaking of higher education, today we're introducing Smartsheet University. There's nothing more important to any of us here at Smartsheet than you gaining quick success and undeniable business value. And as a user, that means that you're having a delightful experience discovering features and making the world easier for you as you work to lead change. But also as a company, we want to ensure that you have an organization of empowered and informed users on the Smartsheet journey, learning from the successes of tens of thousands of other customers. Smartsheet University, launching this fall, is a resource you can use to build your career and your success. In one seamless platform, it brings together instructor-led training, on-demand training, and certification with the goal of building Smartsheet-capable teams through intentional learning journeys. As Mark described at the top of this session, change is really the only constant in the world. How we respond to it is the variable. It will either deter us or it will drive us. It's going to stifle us or it's going to inspire us. And I know you've got this, because you are the ones who've always said, throw down the gauntlet and raise the bar. With Smartsheet, we promise you'll be ready. As we wrap the session today, I'd like for you to meet one of our own in the can-do community, Bosco. He did just that. He raised the bar. Bosco is an inventor and an entrepreneur from Oakland, California. He found himself with an enormous challenge and opportunity earlier this year when his product innovation, the TalkBox, skyrocketed to fame faster than his business could scale. Like Bosco and his business, we always aim to come alongside you, making it easy for you to get started, activating your ingenuity, and amplifying the genius within. And when you need us the most, we'll be there for you. Thank you.
Yeah. So many parts that have to come together to make an Electrospit. The traditional TalkBox has all of these different pieces. It has the sound starts either with the keyboard or a guitar, then that goes into an amplifier, then from the amplifier that goes into a speaker. The speaker is inside of a box, and then there's a tube that you stick into the box, and sound comes through that tube and into your mouth. We've taken all of the parts of the TalkBox and combined them into something that's portable, that you can use with your phone to allow you to be as expressive or more expressive. We want to do the same thing with the business. How do we turn this business that has all of these moving parts into something that is manageable, that is streamlined, that we can focus on the vision and continue to create new music and new products without getting bogged down in the administrative side and trying to manage all of these different data sources that aren't talking to each other.
We're really on the same level trying to make this the best product it could be.
And if you want to make something big and you want to have impact, it's not about you, it's about the team and it's about the community. Without technology, it's impossible to hold all of those things together.
The Bay is all about creating your own stuff, having your own voice, being able to express yourself how you need to. And this just coincides with that entirely.
Automagic technology with Smartsheet keeps the business running smooth, yeah. With Smartsheet.